All right, guys, welcome back to week 7, module 2. We're doing our SCR outline together on this one. By together, I mean you're working on your SCR outline. Today, you're going to be writing a short constructed response, or at least the outline of it, creating a historical argument, citing text evidence, and analyzing historical context in order to answer the question, why would formerly colonized nations want to resist the control of European nations? The only thing you have to do by end of day today is get this completed and turned in. This vocabulary is the same from yesterday. We have colonialism, the policy of taking over distant countries to get rich off of their people and resources. Formerly colonized nations, a nation that was once under colonial rule and has become an independent nation in modern times. And resistance, an effort to stop or fight against someone or something. All right, your do now is pretty straightforward right now. It says stop. You're answering these questions below. If you cannot complete module 2, you absolutely cannot until you finish module 1. So if you have not finished module 1 and actually finished it, not clicked turned in some half-hearted attempt to say like, I did my work. If it is not completed, like you did work in it, go back and complete module 1. If you have completed module 1, awesome job, nice. Open it up for reference and then move on to the question below. So using your responses from week 7, module 1, the independent practice where you filled out those 4 squares, what were your 2 reasons why formerly colonized nations would resist the control of European nations? You can simply copy and paste it over into these 2. So it could be any number of reasons, but it's whatever you chose for your 2 answers. Then, I want you to click open this document that says SCR Documents to Reference. Pardon me. I would also keep this tab open as you complete today's module, just so you don't have to like scroll up, scroll down, and it's kind of formatted a little funny. But if you open this up, you can see that these are just the documents and they're like simple form where you can copy and paste through them. So, which document are you going to use to support number 1, your reason 1, and which document are you going to use to support reason 2? You've also already done this. This was like the bottom 2 squares. So the evidence that you're going to use to support this, you either got it from document 1 or document 2. You should have copied and pasted it. You can do the same here. Remember, we're citing evidence from both documents. So you have to have at least 1 piece of evidence from each document to support your reasoning. All right, so let's look at this independent practice. So using your module 1, and the document analysis you completed during that lesson, I want you to outline your SCR below. So you're just outlining it today. This is where we like break it into those boxes and kind of go chunk by chunk. So again, the prompt is, why would formerly colonized nations want to resist or go against the control of European nations? So in this first box, you're framing your argument, you're giving background information on it. We have done this 1,000 times. So you're kind of answering those big questions, who, what, when, where, why, how. And it's not just 1 sentence, you need at least 1 really, really great sentence, 2 pretty good sentences, or 3 like, these are good sentences, they could be better, but at least we've got 3 sentences there. For important background knowledge to show your reader you understand the argument. So you're going to tell me where European nations were colonizing, why they were colonizing, when they were colonizing. And this is something we've talked about ad nauseum this year. So think about Africa, when, why. Think about Asia, when, why. Those are the 2 big ones that we're going to be focusing on. Once you've done that, you're going to move on to actually answering the prompt. These are the boxes that you just put above. These are the boxes that you answered in module 1. Formerly colonized nations wanted to resist European control so that. Why did they want to do it? So that blank and blank because blah, 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 blah. Or 1 big reason with 2 like sub-reasons, however you feel most comfortable doing it. A pro tip here, review your answers from documents in module 1, and it's going to help you to kind of rethink about what those are. You can also re-watch the document videos that I recorded to refresh your memory on them. Once you've actually answered the prompt, you've included your 2 reasons why colonized nations would want to fight back. And if you needed to, you can go back and watch that looking for task, audience, purpose. Move on to the context. So context, you're basically setting the stage. We've done 1,000 times as well, setting the stage for the document. So you're including title, author, year it was written, why it was written. So remember, we circled the author, boxed the date, underline the title or type, and then parentheses extra information. We've given you some sentence stems here if you don't feel comfortable using this. We practice this a lot, so I know a lot of you feel comfortable with it. But according to the document titled, the Declaration of Independence for the Democratic People of Vietnam, written by so-and-so, or that might be written by the government of Vietnam. It was created in, or you could even say written in, such and such year. This document discusses, and then you're giving me background about what it discusses. So you're summarizing here what the document discusses. And then you're finding evidence. So you would say the author's name, or you could say the title, a summarized title, the Declaration of Independence states, and then you're giving me a quote here. So this is where you go and pull a quote, copy and paste it over here, put it in your box. Then you're giving some reasoning behind it. Explain how this evidence proves that colonial nations wanted to resist for reason number 1. So this is your reasoning number 1 for answer number 1. So this document is a primary source and was written from the point of view of, we're using the Vietnamese example again, written from the point of view of formerly oppressed Vietnamese government subjects against the French. This shows pro-resistance or anti-resistance bias by. So are they pro-resisting their colonizers, or are they anti-resisting their colonizers? Are they, yes, we want to resist them, or no, we don't want to resist them? So you're selecting one of those bias by doing what? You could say something like by using strong language to show that they were oppressed. The author's purpose, why did they write it? It's not just to entertain, to inform. Why were they writing a Declaration of Independence, for example? And then this supports the need for people to resist because. Why would they write something to support resisting? What was it going to get them? What benefit was there? Once you've done that, you're moving on to the context for the second document. So you're telling me, again, according to the document titled, this one would be, it's that very long one, I'm going to pull it up. This one would be, according to the document titled, oh, this one doesn't have a title, this is the speech. According to the speech delivered by Mr. Anwar el-Sadat at the first Afro-Asian People's Solidarity Conference on December 26, 1957, it says, or you could do it, I guess, titled The Afro-Asian Solidarity and World Mission for the Peoples of Africa and Asia, 1957, however you want to think about it. But I just pulled that information from the document sourcing. We've practiced this a lot. This is the summary section. So this document discusses nations continuing to develop a partnership for resisting oppression and future colonization. Anwar el-Sadat states, you're giving me a quote, the document's is a primary source and was written from the point of view of what is his point of view? He is a person living within Africa or Asia that was in a formerly colonized or a currently colonized nation at the time. You're deciding if he was pro-resisting European colonization or it's anti-European colonization, and then giving a reason why. The author's purpose was to stir African and Asian citizens to create a partnership, blah, blah, blah. You're explaining why he would write this, why he would deliver this speech. And this supports the idea that they would resist European colonization because, so you're giving me a reason why. And then you're summarizing this in conclusion, which I know we hate, but we're we're trying to make it a clear like stop point for people as like a marker. If you don't like in conclusion, because it's kind of boring, you could choose something else or leave it as is. It's okay. In conclusion, by resisting European control, formerly colonized nations could tell me what they would be able to do after that. Once you have done that, so you filled out this section, you're going to go back and we're going to look at editing your document for best on the STR rubric that we would use if we were grading this as if it was an IA or something like that. I'm actually going to start a different video for that because it's a little bit more in depth, and I'll explain it there. Thanks, guys.